My name is Zakarias Johansen and I'm currently riding for Team Ibis, and this is my Ibis Ripmo V2, size larger. The Ibis was the first team to pick me up, so for sure it's a special company for me. I was super happy with the bike back then, and it was actually pretty funny because they started the development on the first V1 model of this one just before I left, so I actually got to try that out and give a few pointers just before the change happened. And then coming back, jumping on the second version of the bike, yeah, it was super cool to just feel the progression of it and be back with the, I guess you can say, a bit of a smaller company that appreciate everything you say and take it into consideration. The bike needs to fit the consumer as well, so it always needs to be a balance there, but at least it's more fun when you say something and you know that they listen and take it into consideration. So I really enjoy that. The bike is pretty stock how you get it. It's more pretty picky with my brakes. I just like them to be very touchy, like grabby. And then my rear brake is always a little bit further out than the front brake. That's probably the most annoying thing my mechanic knows, because he needs to bleed them and make them feel nice quite often. I like to use parts that hold up pretty good. So we're on the new Ibis Send rims, which would be a little bit heavier, but we have like no problem at all, so that's just reliable. I've been trying carbon as well. Ibis has a pair of Ibis carbon rims as well that I would have on my Ripley at home for more of a training bike, but for racing everyone in the team is using alloy. Looking back last year, the combo that is on my bike now is pretty much one I run whole last year. So that's a Minion DHF in the front and DHR2 in the back. That's my go-to all the time, except when it's raining. I maybe switch out the front tire to a shorty. And then tire pressure would stay pretty consistent as well. 21 psi in the front, 23 in the rear, and then we use the crush core as well. Always have in the back and then switch a little bit in the front depending on the track and course. For most of the races we run it with a 170mm fork, which just bumps it up a little bit and slacken out the head angle. Ibis frame is, I mean, since I got it, it's been a really good bike. I mean, it's well-rounded, it's proven itself over and over again. Not too long, not too short, playful, still stable, so I'm really happy with that. And then I'm super happy with all our other parts as well. Shimano parts all over, the same, just super reliable. I feel comfortable in the frame and the kinematics and stuff for the frame, and the suspension is set up pretty good, and the brakes are working like I want them. I could pretty much ride whatever, so I would say that's the three big thing. So for race day, we are lucky enough to be working together with OneUp, so we always have the OneUp tool in the stereo, which will pretty much have all the tools you need for a day out, or like to fix everything that is worth fixing, I guess. They have a small pump as well going beside the water ball. I try to test and figure out and try a few different stuff during the off season, but then for the last few years I'm pretty much trying to find the setup that I'm comfortable on and then don't touch it that much during the season. But I guess the more you do something, the more you learn. Nowadays maybe I don't need to try that much stuff. I'm rather working on trying it to feel the way I know I want it to feel. For what we do in Enduro, there's so many different stages and so much different terrain that it's like impossible to find the sweet spot for every track. So for me, I find that it works better to have the bike perform similar on all the stuff, and then I just know what it's going to do every time in all the situations. And as soon as you try to switch something out or change pressure or rebound or whatever, you always need a bit of time to get used to that and to make it go through all the different terrain and like to know what the bike is gonna feel like. So for me, I prefer to just like find my baseline and then not wander too much from that.